Several weeks ago, two Indian female tourists stole at Singapore Changi Airport, with the amount involved being approximately 635 Singapore dollars. They were caught within an hour, facing a possible maximum of 7 years in prison or a fine, or both. In the discussion section below the video, some questioned whether Singapore only dares to report this on Chinese media and avoids releasing related English news, fearing backlash from the Indian diaspora. Yes, when a Canadian girl posted a video accusing Indians of defecating on beaches, the Indian community did not reflect on their hygiene habits, humbly accept criticism, and make improvements. Instead, they collectively accused the girl of racial discrimination and continuously complained about her to media platforms. However, when global netizens posted comments, whether from the US, Australia, or Southeast Asia, reporting similar behavior, and it was revealed to be commonplace in India itself, people realized that the various uncivilized behaviors of Indians overseas are indeed too numerous. Taking the example of the two Indians stealing at Singapore Airport, I cannot say Indians love stealing, as this is an individual act, and every country has thieves. However, as people who could obtain visas to go to Singapore, they should belong to a relatively wealthy class in India. Yet, they seemingly did not understand that most countries' airports have strict surveillance measures, making it almost impossible to escape after stealing. Taiwan pilot James once mocked India's airports for being extremely backward, with some places unable to even operate radios properly. Perhaps Indians, accustomed to the infrastructure level at home, thought Singapore's airports were similarly lacking in technological equipment. Some in the comment section also mocked, saying they might have intended to go to Singapore to serve a prison sentence and enjoy 7 years of free meals, hinting that India's economic backwardness makes even imprisonment in Singapore better than life in India. The words are harsh, but stealing 635 Singapore dollars is truly perplexing. In China, where law enforcement is slightly more lenient, this might not even be classified as a crime. In fact, not only Singapore, but even the food quality and living conditions in a Chinese prison are better than those of most ordinary Indians. Yet, this does not stop Indian Prime Minister Modi from boasting about becoming a developed nation by 2047, building an independent space station, and achieving man-moon landings. Every time I see confident comments from Indians on platforms like YouTube, X, and TikTok asking if Chinese people know about India's greatness, I feel sorry for them. One Indian commenter on my channel said India will liberate Tibet and Xinjiang to give people freedom. Little do they know that, in the eyes of Tibetans and Xinjiang residents, the lives of Indians are less dignified than the pets they keep. Just a few days ago, people in India's northeast region clashed with police forces, claiming they are Chinese. Residents of these disputed areas, some of whom have visited China and know the real living standards of Tibetans, have no desire to build the Bharat beggar empire with clowns like Modi. If they could return to China, their lives would be secure, with the government building them nice houses, schools, hospitals, and other infrastructure. In fact, globally, all Chinese political entities are quite sensitive to racial issues and very friendly to foreigners, and Singapore is no exception. However, regarding Indians, whether in Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Malaysia, or mainland China, the impression is predominantly negative. One can imagine how frustrated people in predominantly white Western countries must be when facing Indians who completely disregard social rules. I recall an Indian guy posting a video showing a Canadian white grandmother telling him to go back to India. A clearly wrong behavior, yet it received massive support, indicating that Canadian society's resistance to Indian immigrants has reached a new height. Canada is known for racial equality and ethnic harmony, yet it is powerless in the face of the destructive behavior of Indians. Many lament that Canada is rapidly Indianizing, expressing concern for the nation's future. Indianization has become a terrifying negative term. This shows how negative India's global image is, This is clearly at odds with Modi's promoted labels of the world's largest democracy, the third superpower, a military power, the World Office, and the future World Factory. Speaking of India's democracy, an Indian commenter in my section said that if China continues to support Pakistan, India will support Taiwan against mainland China. However, I made a video specifically explaining how Taiwanese media views India, regardless of political leanings. Whether blue or green, or even ordinary citizens, their evaluations of India are extremely low, filled with mockery. They sarcastically comment on India's poor performance in the India-Pakistan air war, treating it almost like an entertainment event and consuming it wildly. In mainland China, the public is increasingly resentful of Indian scams and other uncivilized behaviors. Many are calling for the government to tighten visa policies for India. This negative sentiment is accumulating. Though it has not yet become the mainstream, it may indeed influence government decisions. Avoiding travel to India, investing there, and requiring upfront payment when doing business with Indians have become a national consensus. Although I refrain from mocking the Bharat Empire too much, I sincerely suggest that Indians cherish their international image. Regardless of your ethnic group, you will be labeled as Indian. And if this label is mostly associated with negativity, it affects all Indians.